Welcome back to another Harry's Happenings, and today I'm going to take you up to Kett Heights, which is a point in Norwich, just behind me up there, and going to show you some fabulous views of Norwich and give you some information about the Kett Rebellion. So join me and let's get started. So we're going to start this walk from Bishop's Bridge, and we're going to walk along Riverside here. Right, we're at the top end of Riverside Walk. In front of us you can see some hillside. This is Mousehold Heath, and Kett's Heights, which are here, are really all part of Mousehold Heath. And you know, when Kett had his army here, 10,000 people, they were spread over this area, ready to attack the city. Here we are at Kett's Hill, and we're going to go up there. So walk along Kett's Hill, and we will find this rather discreetly positioned opening, which will lead us to the garden. Steps, you will see this, and you probably wonder what it is. It's the remains of a piggery. In the Second World War, pigs were kept here, and the pond was for the drinking water for the pigs. This is the only remains of what was the 12th century St Michael's Chapel, the main part of the chapel being to the left hand side. And during the 19th century, Kett Heights was part of the gasworks site owned by then the British Gas Light Company. So in the later part of the 19th century, Kett Heights was developed by the gas company as a garden for the workers, and as part of this work greenhouses were built, and both in the chapel grounds, and what you see now is the herb garden, which is just here behind me. So this is the view that we have currently. So who was Robert Kett? Robert Kett was a very wealthy landowner. He was 57 years old, and it was in Windham. Like many of his fellow landowners, Kett decided to put up fences to enclose local common land to his own benefit. But what he did not realise is how his actions would affect the livelihood of poor farmers and peasants who depended upon using common land to farm and graze their animals. So in the summer of 1549, the local peasants rebelled and began to tear down the fences. And when they came to Kett's land, instead of reacting with violence himself, he listened to them and sympathised with their hardship. So the more he listened, the more convinced he became of the truth of their grievances. So Kett himself helped tear down his own fences that he'd put up and became the leader of the rebel cause. On the 21st of July 1549, a messenger from the King's Council proclaimed that the gathering of the Kett's army was a rebellion and offered a pardon. Kett rejected the offer, saying he had no need to pardon because he had not committed any treason. Kett and his followers were now officially rebels, and the authorities therefore shut the city gates and set about preparing their city defences. In the late evening of the 21st of July, the rebel artillery opened fire, and Kett's artillery, now on the slopes of Mousehold Heath, opened fire on the city. Thousands of rebels charged down from Mousehold and began swimming the Wensum between the Cow Tower and the Bishopsgate. The city defenders fired volleys of arrows into rebels as they crossed, but they couldn't stop the attack. So England's second biggest city was in the hands of the rebels. That's pretty significant, isn't it? On the 27th of August 1549, Kett's rebels met Warwick's government army in Dussingdale, a small valley outside of the city. The rebels outnumbered Warwick's army, but they had no cavalry, and that was what sealed their fate. The royal forces were utterly triumphant, killing thousands of rebels and taking thousands more captive. Robert Kett was captured just a few miles from the battle scene, and he was taken to the Tower of London, held for a time and then tried for treason. I don't think he was going to get out of this one. The outcome of the trial was obvious. He was found guilty and transported back to Norwich, and basically he was hung from the walls of Norwich Castle for everybody to see. He was allowed to die of starvation, and his corpse was left there for a long time after his death, just to remind people, do not go against the country, basically. His brother William was also found guilty and taken to Windham, and where he was hung from the west tower of the church. So there was a big battle here, and I have only told you a little bit about it, but you can read more online, and there's the wonderful book called Tombland, which is a best-selling novel by C.J. Sampson. It's a really big book. I haven't read it yet, but I have got it, and I'm looking forward to reading the historical content. There you go. A nice little area to walk around. Great views of Norwich. Very historical too. So if you've enjoyed this video of mine, please subscribe and hit the notification button, because I'll be doing more walking and talking, exploring videos from Norwich. Please leave any comments, and hope to see you again. And thanks for watching. Thank you.